So what day is it? It's
Wednesday.
Wednesday, August 31st.
Already?
So tomorrow, we're going to make it a September to remember. Guys are itching because it is the first day of a full football card. And I know you were saying,
September to remember to make it a December to remember.
correct. The question is, Appalachian State really is a game that jumped out. Come on, they beat Michigan a couple of years ago. They have a shot to roll tomorrow and do the same thing, don't they?
That was 9 years ago.
All right, a couple of years ago, 9 years ago.
They're not going to surprise anybody anymore. And they were getting 35, I think, that day from Michigan. But
They were.
That was a horribly coached Lloyd Carr football team.
Here's what I want to ask you. Since there's no preseason in college, how do you handicap college? Let's talk about college first, since there's an absence of preseason, and then we can talk about the NFL. How do you handicap you don't get to watch these games?
How do you handicap the NFL? And there is a preseason. And the preseason
Well, if all the
doesn't
major
mean
stars
anything.
get injured before the season starts, that helps because they try to play in preseason and injure their back and go out, bust their knee and go out. Who we lost so
You're
far?
gonna
We
get
lost
injuries.
Romo. For Minnesota, who did we just lose?
Bridgewater.
Right.
Teddy Bridgewater.
We lost Romo. We lost Bridgewater. Who else? Any other notables? Mike is behind the camera. He's the first time in Vegas in 3 years. Anybody else we lose, Mike?
I mean, Minnesota's probably the biggest one because that's their whole season. They have no backups as of right now.
Right. So what do you say about even bringing in for even one snap in preseason, any of these big guys? It shouldn't even be allowed, right?
Well, they need to get time, but you know what? You're right. College doesn't do it, but college quarterbacks maybe start out slower. So they've done this forever, preseason, and they used to play 6 preseason games. They were smart to cut it to 4, and they'll probably be even smarter to cut it to 2. But most of these preseason games are not for the quarterbacks. It's more for the 40 guys that are trying to latch onto the team because there's so much talent out there. You could really you could add another 10 teams and fill them with plenty of talent and still be
I want to go back to, I've known you for 3 years. The first day I met you, you looked me in the eye and you said, everybody has to have an edge to win professionally and do this for a living. And you said, some people's edge is middling games. When I look at this game here, the opening number was 19. It went to 21 and a half, the first college football game completed at the time of this video. Somebody middled that game.
Maybe.
51 to 31.
Maybe.
California, Hawaii.
There was probably only one guy that laid the 19, though. So did he middle it? Did he come back? Or did he think he had a great position?
Well, let's make
the
the assumption that somebody did middle that game.
The book got middled.
Well, the book definitely
The book got middle to it, but then maybe they didn't because there might have been more money on Cal minus 21 and a half. I don't know.
What I'm asking you, is it a valid strategy for a square bettor to always grab, lay the favorite off the key number, under 21, under 7, and then grab it back and risk the vig?
No, because it doesn't have to go towards the favorite. The key number. I mean, the key number, because it was 19 and a half, that doesn't mean it has to go to 20. It could go to 17 to the other key number.
Right.
It could go the opposite way. So you have to do your homework and you have to come up with a number yourself and think about what you think that game should be.
Right. So if you had that number at 21, then you would do it.
Well, there's not much value if you made it 21 and it's 19 and a half. I'd rather said I made it 27 and it's 19 and a half. I'm laying it knowing that's going up. Just because I made it 21, I don't know if it's going to go up or not.
Got it.
It's got to be a team that likes to run scores up, first of all, and has been running scores up. So Cal, probably thinking about the game because they play so fast and they pass so much that people thought that, well, they're going to score a lot of points, and they did. So that's why that game went up, I think.
Gotcha.
And Hawaii was a good brand new coach, first year Rolovich, who's going to be much better than Norm Chow, that's for sure.
But the books didn't want to have that game sitting on.
Well, look at the North Carolina State game. That game opened 17 and got bet to 21.
Right.
They won by 7 in overtime.
Right. Yeah. So it doesn't. Right. So now going ahead to the regular season, with an absence of preseason, how do you make the numbers? You're doing. You already said you have. Look, if you go to Odds X Factor and you click the VIP link, you got.
That's the secret.
You got the secret. Well, there is a secret there. You can get it. You can get that code when you call me. But you got 9. You said you already have 9 plays that you circled that you're looking at very heavy for opening week 1. It doesn't mean you're going to play them all. Obviously, there's late information. You can get those games via text alert. But you're looking at stats, power ratings. You've been following these players in the offseason. I know you start doing this work a month ago, 2 months ago. Like, nobody still saw a pre-game. So you're still basing this on past performances to indicate future results?
No, I don't do anything. The only thing I do on past performance is the stats from the quarterback, what he did last year.
Got it.
And then I've got a formula that upgrades what type of improvement he's going to make from last year to this year, and each step is different. Freshman to sophomore, sophomore to junior, junior to senior. It's different, and I'm not going to give that secret sauce away, but I upgrade each player on what year they're going in or what year they're actually in, because some guys are red shirts as well. So that's about the only back performance I use. Everything else is off of size, speed, and experience.
Now, let's talk about pace. We talked about that last December, especially in basketball, but how you created this pace. But pace is also applicable to college and pro football, because where we didn't have pace in baseball, we now have second half wagering, where you will text me like you did in football, in basketball, and say, hey, you got to make adjustments and grab this. And obviously that's the game that's halftime wagering. Do the same pace rules apply? Because obviously there was a pace of been running up and down the court. Is it different when you're looking for first down, second down? Different pace?
You look at Alabama. They play methodical like they're an NFL team, and then go to Houston or go to California and look at how many numbers of plays they run per game. It's ridiculous difference. They're running 90 plays per game, where Alabama's running 70. It's a big difference. 20 more plays California's getting in a football game than Alabama is. And that makes their defense on the field more too, because things are happening faster and downs go quicker, so you go 3 and out fast, your defense is back on the field. So that makes your defense suffer as well. So, that's one thing important to look at is the plays per game a team has. You've said something I wanted to give you. When I like to give some type of information, you're watching this video, I want you to get something out of it that you can use without calling me. And the one thing that I'll give you is a team that I worked on. You said pace. Detroit Lions are going to go fast this year.
Okay.
They're going to go fast as they can. And I'm so bad with names, and because I've got so many in my head. The Detroit Lions quarterback, his name? Matthew Stafford. Go look and see what Stafford did last year after their bye week. It was like the last 7-8 games of the season. New offense, new offensive coordinator. It took him a while to pick the offense up, but after that break, he was amazing. Over 70% completions. He's got a grip of the offense, and they're going to go quick. Even though Calvin Johnson doesn't matter, they are going to go so fast. The wide receivers will be just fine. Calvin Johnson's going to be sitting at home going, God, I wish I was there. I wish I was there, because he probably would have caught 150 passes this year if he was there.
Anything you want to say about my Orioles or baseball in general as a whole, as we have 30 games exactly left as of August 31st in the regular season?
It's going to be a dogfight down to the finish. I think Toronto is actually going to pull this thing out. I think
playing the Orioles, right?
Yeah, they've got a great offense, and I think their pitching's come around enough that they're going to be I think the team to beat.
And what about Washington Nationals?
Nationals, I think it's going to be. It looks easy. National League looks easy. I think it's the Cubs and the Nationals in the championship, and the winner, whoever wins that, is going to be in the World Series.
What about Cleveland?
Cleveland's got a good chance. I like their starting rotation. I think their bullpen's a little bit weak.
Are you a futures?
The offense is okay
for the NFL. Are you make any futures?
Yeah, there's not a lot of value out there, so it's hard to find. I really haven't made any NFL because I'm still working on teams like I did Detroit last night, and that's why I was, this came out about Stafford. It's information that I read and numbers that I crunched. So I haven't done anything there yet. College, I did do a couple of futures. One is I think UCLA's got a great chance to play in the Final Four. I don't think they can win it, but you could probably get them at 40 or 50 to 1 to win it all, and they're going to be one of the Final Four teams.
Somebody over there smiling. That's one of his nice teams he likes.
Absolutely.
He's happy to hear that you didn't get
They also have a fast pace.
They got a good, their quarterback is one of the best in college football, if not the best. And he's only a sophomore. And I love the coach, Jim Mora's heads and tails better than anybody else, I think, right now on that side of the conference.
Something off the subject of sports betting that we're sitting here at the table with two Las Vegas locals, one off camera who was on one of my last videos. We'll call him Mr. Soccer, and he's one of my soccer sources. And I want to bring this to your attention, both of you. We met a mutual friend last night, and her daughter is. We're not going to say her name, the daughter's name. Her daughter is dating what's his name, Tate
Perrell. Patel. I think it was Perrell.
He's the #1 draft pick for. He just
Bishop
committed
Moore.
to Tate. He's going to Ohio State.
Tate.
He just committed to Ohio State.
Yeah,
he's the #1 NFL.
He's a quarterback.
draft
He's a hell of a quarterback.
pick. But here's what I wanted to ask you. He's going to go to Ohio State, and he's going to go to the NFL. If everything went to true for him, this guy's like a monster. Let's just assume
5'11".
Right, that's what first thing he said. He's got to grow. But let's just go with this. Go with my argument here. His mom and dad own the M Resort. I'm just wondering about the conflict of interest of an NFL quarterback coming from a family that his
Tate Martell.
Yes, Tate
Martell.
Martell. It was just off the tip of my tongue. So I'm friends by guilt of association with Tate Martell's girlfriend's mother, and I didn't know it till she said, my daughter's boyfriend's so stressed out. He just came back from Texas. He played Cedar somebody. And he was just so exhausted.
He had a big fourth quarter. He had 3 touchdown runs in the fourth quarter. He had like 170
She said, I didn't know.
rushing. And
she said, the pressure on this young man is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I told him it's just a game.
Yeah.
I looked at her. I said, it's not just a game, right?
if he takes it that way, he's going to be better off. He's already got the scholarship locked up. But
she said he just committed to Ohio State, and his parents, and she doesn't really understand, what I do.
it's his third school he's committed to, by the way. At a junior high, he committed to University of Washington, and then when he got to Gorman, he committed to Texas A&M and withdrew both of those, and now he's on his third school.
And she said his parents were discussing about not spoiling children, and we're not going to say what he drives, but she was saying about how my child drives this and her boyfriend drives this. And it wasn't because somebody gave him, it's parents own the M Resort. And I was just thinking, what do you think that conflict would be if he actually made it to the NFL? Son of gambling casino moguls goes to the NFL. What is your take on that? Looking ahead of
the M isn't. They don't have their own sports book, so they would have no conflict. There are several corporations that have owned pieces of major franchises.
Like the
Caesars has the Boston Celtics, the Palms had the Sacramento Kings. And it wasn't that they just didn't book their team; they didn't book the entire league.
Right.
So if somebody has ownership in the league, then they can't book the league. So I don't know how that'll work out. And that's the first.
Interesting.
I never knew that because it was the Marnells that owned the M, but they sold it to a group out of the East Coast that owns that company. And I know Tate Martell came from California. He was good friends with Snoop Dogg's son. They went to high school together. They both came to Bishop Foreman together. So I didn't know that about Martell. But I tell you what, the backup quarterback's name is Thompson. He's 6'5" and has a better arm than Tate Martell. Martell's a great dual threat quarterback, but the Thompson kid who will play high school, be the starter next year, he can already go anywhere he wants, and I think he might even be the better quarterback because of his height and arm strength that he has.
Right.
Martell's a football player,
and
but he can run like the wind. When I say that, he doesn't run like the wind. He's not a fast guy. He's like a 4.7 guy. But his football instincts, he's like football speed. He's like a 4.4. He's got eyes in the back of his head. He knows where the defenders are at all times. He's really, his IQ is off the charts.
When I said he'll go to the NFL, you kind of went, man, there's a lot. So you're saying there's a lot of, as a father of athletes, there's a lot, it's a big business. There's a lot of high draft, but the way he's touted, we read an article in the 7 magazine on the newsstands touting him that is just the man.
Yeah.
But again, anything can happen. Injuries can happen. Anything can happen.
Right, yeah, you never know.
I just thought it was interesting, the gambling connection. And who knows, by then maybe sports wagering is legal everywhere.
And, you know, I can look back 20 years ago. People just tried to stay away from Vegas as much as they could because of the gambling.
Right.
And they didn't think of us as an athletic hotbed, but it is now. There are so many guys in college in every sport, football, basketball, and baseball around the country from Southern Nevada. It's ridiculous how many there are. There's over 100 guys right now playing college football, D1, from Southern Nevada.
Really?
Yeah.
And now, Mr. Soccer over there, we were just talking about Kenny losing a play in the World Cup in the 89th minute. All my clients, they lost the play. That play we lost last week, how much seconds were left?
Literally 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
45
So
seconds.
you're all fair, and that's fine. They don't have to see your face. You like your anonymity. Why? You tell everybody real quick, and there's the mic.
Yeah.
You said that winning teams sometimes will play, not to lose, but play with looking at the clock.
Right, like towards the end of the game, once they start looking at the clock, thinking, okay, we got the game, we just have to hold on to the ball for a few more minutes. It's like somehow they changed their whole game plan. And now you see a team that was controlling the game, defending for the last 2 minutes, gives the other team an opportunity, and that's what the goals in the last 2 minutes of soccer happen all the time.
And is that also because if they're winning 1-0, they know they can't lose, they can draw?
Right, it's a lot safer for a team if you're winning 1-0 to just try to hold on to that lead than to try to go for the second goal and risk getting scored. So that's why they don't attack. Everybody just kind of falls
Now,
back.
how does it
a little
affect
bit.
them at the end of the year if you add up these extra draws versus giving up a win?
It affects a lot, depending
In the Premier League.
We're in the Premier League, right? Because at the end of the league, you can decide either you qualify for the Champions League or not, or you got the Europa League, or if you get relegated or not. You know, because there's other teams that are trying to get promoted also into the Premier League that are coming from second division. So no matter where you're at on the table, each point matters. Basically.
Got it. So, I mean, are you done with soccer?
I'm done with soccer.
He's done. I mean, we've been making a lot of money
One
with soccer.
World Cup.
What hedging the draws has been very successful.
Yeah.
Because I think that you've got to hedge the draws.
Yes.
MLS, I tell you what, however he gets this info on MLS, unbelievable. Again, it's just been. You probably never looked at MLS, the American soccer. You get these lines plus 455, plus 680, plus 7. Like they're putting up these, and it's the only sport that I've seen. And then we'll end this video where in soccer you get both teams as the dog.
Correct. You get a plus.
A plus and then a lower plus.
Right.
Can you imagine in
Because the
football?
tie's the big favorite.
Can you, right, exactly. Can you imagine having two NFL in a baseball game having two pluses?
Well, those games can't end in a tie, so
Right.
that would be nice. We could make money.
Exactly.
We
So,
could all make
like I
money
said,
all day.
you go to oddsxfactor.com. The X Factor is Kenny, how he makes the lines. Like I said, you know, right now people get confused. They think that, look, you used to own Las Vegas Lines Consultants, used to make the line. Now you obviously do your own work now, do your own playing.
Las Vegas Sports Consultants.
Las Vegas Sports Consultants. You got it from Roxy, or Roxy got it from you?
No, Roxy started that company. I had my own company, kind of competing company. He had sold Las Vegas Sports Consultants, and it had been sold twice before I bought it. So I didn't buy it directly from Roxy, but it was his
Got
company.
it. So now you make your own number. We call it the outlaw number. We'll call it Kenny's number. And then the main number, is that just put out by the offshores?
Yeah, the offshores go up first. This first week of college football did, and it actually went up in Vegas. A lot of the Vegas casinos put these numbers up first, but on Monday, the numbers will go up for college football for week 2. They'll go up on the offshore before they go up in Vegas. And that'll be every week from here on out.
But you still make your own number. The difference between your number and the difference between their number is what gives you the edge.
Yes, gives me
And
the X
so
factor.
if you're watching this video, that's the X factor. Kenny's number versus the offshore number.
Offshore minus Kenny equals X.
Offshore minus Kenny. I wish I had a chalkboard. Offshore minus Kenny equals X. And that is your report. Mike is working the cameras on. I'll have to
Cheers.
reach over. Good day and good luck.